It's 12:30 on my clock. So 1, 2, 3, divine order. Now I'm going to get out a message right now for primarily those who are tarot readers, or you come to give a message. You have some type of abilities, clairaudient, mainly, okay? And now I have been giving messages about a game being played in the spiritual community, and clairaudient messages being tampered with, okay, or distorted. And before I start this message, let me just get something clear. Guys, is this the message? Please and thank you. Show me. Okay, so yeah, 111 as I say this. So clairaudient messages being tampered with, 1, 2, 3 now on the timer. You may be hearing repeated messages over and over in your head, possibly in your own voice. So you'll feel like it's you, okay? Or you'll feel like Spirit is giving you a message to 144, as I say this, to give to the collective. And I'm saying more likely than not, it may not be, okay? Now, a long time ago, like in the middle of me starting my channel, I was guided to tell my story and how I came to tarot and what have you. I did not come to tarot. Tarot came to me. My guides showed me my abilities and what I can do with them. Tarot was the last thing that I ever thought I would be doing, okay? Now, I've told many times before, I was giving messages, not on social media, way before social media, okay? From my teens into my early, well, until now, but not through tarot. There was a reason I was guided to tarot, okay? And I can remember somebody asking me, you know, why don't I just give the messages? Like, why do I use the cards? Spirit knows before we know what's coming into play. Now, and I'm going to say Spirit knew bringing me here using the cards without just giving messages. Spirit knew that someone, some people, groups of people would begin altering the messages, okay? Through whatever technology they use, frequency or what have you. And so if you're noticing repetitive thoughts, you feel like you're going crazy, you just can't clear your mind, it's not spiritual attacks, okay? And I was 1, 2, 3, 4 now on the clock, divine order. A while back, I was guided to not give the messages that are speaking of spiritual attacks. And I didn't know why. Because 9 times out of 10 is not a spiritual attack in this time frame that we're in. Okay? I was guided to the cards because if you're watching and you can cross-reference the message, you can discern better the message. If what I'm saying, even though I read intuitively, I explain what the cards mean. And I know Spirit has me doing it in the way that I do for a specific reason. Because there are those in the spiritual community trying to discredit what we do, okay? What we come here to do. And the thing is this, if you're hearing messages, you want to get them clarified with Spirit. Pick up your cards. Is this a message I need to be giving? I begin to see a lot of readers say, I don't need the cards. I don't need the cards. Okay? And one day, by me being attacked and targeted, I began hearing, you don't need the cards. I know I don't need the cards because that's not how I begin. I never came to the cards. Okay? Spirit guided me to give messages through the cards. That way you could see that what I'm saying is the message. Okay? So that if you are feeling like in the middle of giving a message, you're just stopped in your tracks, or you don't know where the message is going, you can't understand where it's coming from, or you just feel an abrupt pause, your mind is being tampered with. Okay? And it's not random, is what I want to say. And why I say it's not spiritual attacks, because even spirits, even if they're negative spirits, they adhere to universal law. So when you do your cleansing and clearing and you ask a spirit to no longer be in your presence, they adhere to universal law. It's humans who feel like they can override universal law. Okay? And they feel like karma doesn't remember or doesn't see what they're doing. They feel like they can overrule spirit, okay, or the universe, what have you. Now, this particular group of people, or whoever they are, because it doesn't even matter who they are. Like I said in a message before, if it won't be them, it'll be someone else trying to discredit, okay, the spiritual community. And in this time frame we're in, even the spiritual community is being held to a higher standard, because they aren't doing, some of them aren't doing things in an authentic way. And I would just suggest that you be mindful of the spiritual groups you're getting into, the gurus you're following, because they very well may be in this particular group that is targeting other spiritual people in the spiritual community. There is some in particular who will use what's going on, the negative media. They will use those things to constantly post, okay, in their groups or their social media sites, so that they can then offer you a solution, okay, to whatever is going on in the world, the outside world, okay. So you may be hearing, like I said, an abrupt pause. And I'm speaking out more now because I understand that my kids are also being affected, okay? And if you notice an abrupt change, an abrupt 180 in your children, just be mindful. Have you moved into an apartment complex or a multi-unit complex in the past 2 years? Has your management changed? And I have begin saying ownership, okay? But management companies are much more easy to disappear than if someone was actually taking ownership of the complex. So has your management company changed, or repeatedly changing? Are just some of the things that you want to be mindful of, especially if you think you have to hop up. And that's why Spirit is giving me that message too. You don't have to hop up to do anything. I just noticed the similarities in what's going on with the spiritual community. And so that's why I want to not make you afraid, but make you aware, so that you can also connect the dots, okay? And also being guided to reiterate. We're being guided to the cards so that those who are getting the message can see for themselves what the message is, rather than just believing word of mouth, because your messages are being altered, okay? So with that being said, remain strong and true to what you are here to do, and don't allow people to bully and fear you out of your spot. Now, I just posted a message, and the cards were sitting right in front of me, but I didn't want my little 10 minutes to run out. But I was speaking about how I noticed, even with myself and with other readers, when we would come to give the message. It's like, oh, I wasn't planning on giving a message, and Spirit had me hop up, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. Now, if you look at these cards, okay, first of all, Spirit don't want you in this mind frame giving a message. That's number one. Number two, this is calm. This is Spirit, okay? Spirit's going to give you a message in the mind frame of you being calm. Because when you're calm, that's how the messages come through clearly, okay? So if you're in an agitated state, like these people want you to be, your nervous system messed up, it's easier to control your mind. It's easier to keep you frazzled. They want to keep you in that mind frame, because if you're not clear of mind, you're easier to control, okay? It's easier to push through a message. Now, if I watch your channel, if you notice that I watch your channel, or you watch mine, be mindful that you also could be targeted. I had a client come into me, and she was telling me all these things, okay, that was going on with her. And then next thing I know, they were going on with me, okay? So she was already watching my channel. And you do as well. You could also be targeted, okay? It's 88% on my phone. That number could be significant. You may be seeing it. If it is happening to you, don't be afraid to speak out about it. Now, I gave a message yesterday that Spirit was going to make somebody tell on themselves, okay? Don't doubt out of fear that whatever you're going through won't be handled by your team, is what I want to say, okay? 222 on the timer. Your team will cause things to fall in line, okay? Remain true to what you're doing. Remain true to yourself, your message, the message you're giving, and how you give it is what I want to say. Queen of Swords, okay? Do what's right. Do the right thing, okay? And now, when I say that messages can be forced, tampered with, your clairaudient ability, believe it when I say that. And for some reason, my Wi-Fi keeps going on and off, on and off. And I already know what it is. And it don't have nothing to do with no spiritual entity, okay? It's human beings feeling like they can override universal law. Like I said, even negative spirits adhere to universal law. Once you ask them to remove themselves, they do as such, okay? Now, like I said, if you are giving messages, if you go to receive messages, just understand that this is what's going on, okay? Continue to have faith in your spiritual team that everything will be handled, okay? Don't come to give messages in this mind frame, okay? They want you to come to social media looking crazy. They want you to sound like you don't know what you're talking about, okay? They want you to act a fool so that ultimately you can discredit yourself, okay? I can't tell you what to do. All I can do is give the message as Spirit is giving it to me to give to you. Another thing is being scouted by those in your DMs asking you what you would do with money if they gave it to you. That may be happening to you. Also, and like I'm losing train of thought now, 444. But I ain't gonna worry about it because I'm protected. As always. Because if it don't come through now, it's gonna come through in another message. But with that being said, be mindful that you don't look like this. Gather yourself before you get a message. Clarify that is the message that you should be giving. Maybe 2 years ago, I got a message from Spirit saying that things were coming out in the media. Things would begin to present themselves, okay? That we will begin getting messages, and our integrity would be tested. Are you giving a message about different celebrities or things that's going on in the media? Like, that's drama. Like, if you're getting messages, because we do pick up things from everywhere, okay? But is it the message you should be giving? Are you giving messages simply to gain notoriety, telling people's business? One famous gossip columnist, be mindful, because I know who you're talking about. I ain't gonna say no names, but people fainting, dizzy spells, what is it, like staring off into space. All these things are symptoms of your mind being tampered with, okay? So when I come here speaking about mental fortitude and you not allowing the depression or things that are being triggered in your head, don't let that get to you. Continue to remain strong. Do things that are going to be positive and uplifting, and staying away from social media. Things aren't overriding and overclouding your mind. These are some of the things that I'm speaking about. And all I could do is say, walk in your integrity, okay? I can't force you to do anything. This is your free will. But because your free will is being tampered with, is why I'm here giving the message, okay? So with that being said, this is the message, part 2 to the message. And I was reading the comment from someone yesterday on one of the videos, and they were talking about Saturn in Aries, okay, which Saturn moves into Aries February 13th. But I found it interesting that it was talking about this time period of Saturn-Neptune conjunction, okay? February 20th. It was speaking about AI, sustainable ideals in AI, but also pushing for ethical leadership. This transit also speaks of leadership, mature leadership, okay? It says Saturn, the planet of discipline, merges with the sign of bold action, Aries, demanding structured, mature leadership and sustainable self-assertion. So when I've been given the messages of you will be playing a new role or career change, or you'll be stepping into a position of authority, this lines up with this time frame, okay? So the new year, February is Chinese New Year, okay? But also Aries has been coming through a lot. Now, I found it interesting that it speaks about sustainable ideals in AI, but also ethical leadership. And when I've been given the message about a game being played with a spiritual community, AI comes into play, because all this technology, we're easily deceived, okay? Our eyes are easily deceived with the amount and the height, or depth, I should say, of AI and how it's being used. You got to be real keen to what your eyes are seeing. And I have been given the message of discernment and knowing and feeling your way through interactions, especially on social media, okay? Because if you can be deceived right in front of your eyes, physical, face to face, you can definitely be deceived online, okay? So let's see what the message is here, Spirit. I'm opening it up to the Oracle, okay? Pythia, Oracle of Delphi. Messages, and this is a new beginning. Ace of Pentacles. So you may have a spiritual practice that this is pertaining to, but also this is getting downloads. This is communication, and it ties into the message. Being mindful of the communication that you're getting, because it can be deceptive. This is mind games, okay? 5 of Swords. The messages that you receive through clairaudient abilities can be manufactured. You may feel like you're getting a download, 4 of Swords, or even visions, King of Wands, okay? You want to clarify with spirit that the message isn't being manipulated, okay? With the Magician here, and this is the messenger. So 3, 4, 5 cards of messages. You want to clarify through the cards, or asking for a sign that cannot be manipulated. A physical happening, okay? A physical sign that can't be manipulated. You want to clarify with your guides if that is the message that you're receiving. If it is a clear message from your spiritual team, okay? What else do you need to know here? 444 on the timer. Because I'm going to just say it like this. Karma. Spirit is getting tired of people playing games. Okay? There are those, man, who feel like they can override or overrule universal law, which they will begin to receive these tower moments coming into their lives, because 7 of Swords, lies, deceit, trickery, deception, okay? And you have those who teach that you shouldn't be in a scarcity or lack mindset, but it's literally the mindset they're in because they're trying to control the narrative in order to make sure that their funds aren't depleted. Make sure that you continue to come to them for the answer, for the message. Like, even when I began giving messages at some point, 555, like I said, things are changing. I began telling people, you can do this yourself. Get a deck of cards, connect to your guides, protect yourself as you're getting messages, and you don't need to come here to social media or anybody else to receive messages, to get guidance, okay? And I will continue to give that message. I'm beginning to make tarot decks so that you can purchase decks in a way that I'm providing information, and you get the information yourself so that you don't have to come here to social media. Tap in with your guides yourself so that you can receive your message, receive your guidance in that way. You don't need a middleman or someone to give you messages that you can obtain yourself, okay? You don't need anyone to help you heal, okay? Because in the depth of it all, it's only you. When those tower moments hit, you have to understand how to bring yourself from the shadow side, okay? And once you learn to do so, once you ask to be helped in that way through your spiritual guides, you can begin to guide yourself through that energy, okay? Because even if you were to come to me, even if you go to these quote unquote gurus, they can't do the work for you. They may give you some type of tools, but ultimately you still have to do the work yourself, okay? So when it comes to healing, you have to be willing to heal, be willing to bring yourself up out of the mud. The lotus flower has been coming through a lot, okay? Don't ever feel like you're in such a deep, dark place that you can't still rise from it, okay? Because there are those in the spiritual community who are sowing discord intentionally, okay? current messages, please, and thank you, Spirit. And I'm hearing remain confident. Walk away from anything that is not serving you, especially the negative mindsets that are being forced upon you, okay? As you're trying to make it through healing, as you're serving your purpose in whichever way you're being guided to. And I ain't ever had so much problems with my internet. But the message is going to get out anyway. Nine of Swords. This is the energy that they want to keep you in so that you do not do what you're called to do. Okay. And now with this King Midas here, no amount of money anyone can offer you should be able to take you out of your integrity. Okay. You will always be provided for. So with that being said, this is your message. Continue to press forward because your day will come. With that being said, this is your message. May you receive it well. Take care.